So Alfonso Raso is the winner of the governor's seat in Sonora. He's a member of the Morena party. That's the president's party and a party that's been pretty successful here in Sonora and across the country. Durazo has a long political history and is a prominent member of Morena and actually served as the Secretary of Security for the federal government before deciding to run for governor in Sonora. And he won by a really wide margin. He got more than 50% of the vote among six candidates. He hasn't talked a lot about his plans for cross border relationships, but we know that he has apparently gotten congratulatory phone call from Doug Ducey, and they both put out messages about their expectations. And Dorazo says he wants to see the region continue to thrive for people on both sides of the border.
Was the relationship with Arizona an issue at all? Did it come up during the campaign?
It's honestly not something that the candidates, any of the six, brought up during the election or were asked about in debates. We heard a lot more about issues about water, which is huge here, and security, which is probably the biggest issue people are worried about, and economics. One thing to note about Durazo is that he does say he's going to take on security. That was his role in the federal government, but violence has continued to increase here in Sonora, including while he's held leadership roles. So that's something I think people here are really paying close attention to.
You mentioned violence, especially in Sonora, and during this election period, there was a lot of violence. Did that contribute possibly to the low turnout that we're reading about here?
Well, it's hard to say for sure how much violence might have played into that. There was a lot of violence in Mexico, higher levels than in some previous elections. And as you mentioned, including in Sonora, where Abel Murrieta, who was running for mayor in the southern Sonoran municipality of Cajeme, was murdered, gunned down in the middle of the street in broad daylight during a campaign event. So violence is certainly, part of the picture, but we've seen that as a trend, the low voter turnout in Sonora. It's been going down over several election cycles. So there could be some pandemic influence, there could be some violence, but it also seems to be, perhaps not as much interest in the candidates that are available, or some apathy toward the candidates that they have on the ticket.
What were some of the other national highlights as we start to digest the election results across Mexico?
I think perhaps the biggest one were wins for women. There were, just historic numbers of women running for offices. Mexico has pushed parity for all, this idea that women should be, running in all of the races and in equal numbers to men. And for governor seats, women won, it looks like, in preliminary results, it looks like they won 6 of the 15 seats. And that's almost as many as women who have held seats as governor in all of Mexico's history, which is about 8. And right now, there's only 2, including Claudia Pablo Victor and Sonora. So I think we're seeing that historic change. 6 women who will be taking over governor seats really is an exciting change for Mexico.
All right. Well, we look forward to the final results and what all of that means when all the recounts are finished and things like that. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.